Hey, what's going on, guys? SkyfuryDX here, and welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me for another Dokkan battle video. Today I'm bringing you right before the release of the MUI Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta. I'm going to be bringing you an LR tier list. This is all of the LRs who have released since, and including the LRs from the 5-year anniversary up until this point in the game right now. This is only LRs released during like legendary summons, okay? Like, I'm not counting any sort of like Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs. This is specifically just the legendary ones. Okay, so I'm going to disappear off the screen right now, and then we'll start this tier list. Okay, so the first unit that we're going to talk about is Broly. Now, Broly came out during the 5-year anniversary alongside LR Rose, who we've got coming up next. But the thing about this Broly that really lets Broly down more than anything else, he's probably one of the units in the game with the fewest categories. You can see he's only in movie bosses and joined forces. That really doesn't help Broly out at all. Like, on the movie bosses, you really probably don't even want to run this Broly because of his link set. I mean, if you're running the movie bosses team, you're going to be wanting to run units with like terrifying conquerors and other, big bad boss type things. But I mean, his link set at the moment, like Brainiac, Solid Support, Cold Judgment, even Shocking Speed, like a lot of these links here you're just never going to be able to activate. He doesn't really link up too well with other Broly units either. I just find myself never ever really using this guy at all. The only time that I use him really at all is just in Dokkan Battlefield, and that is just for his extreme physical type leader skill. Like, if he didn't have that, I would never ever use him. It's really sad that this Broly just seems not to have a home or anywhere like properly to use him, but I mean, that's just what he is. I mean, like, if you pull this guy, how is this guy going to help you out in any way? I mean, his passive skill is a little bit quirky. I kind of like the way that works, but he's also relying heavily on getting key spheres, which isn't a good mechanic. I'm not really a fan of needing to feed these units a lot of key spheres in order to do well. But I mean, look at this. With 7 or more key spheres obtained, you know how often you're going to get 7 or more key spheres? Like, hardly ever, right? So this Broly here is right at the bottom of our list. It's unfortunate for him. I don't want to put anybody in the last place, but I mean, this Broly definitely gets that. So the next unit that came out, we had LR Rose. Now, LR Rose is probably a fair bit better than what the Broly is. He can at least be run on a whole bunch of teams. Instead of having 2 categories, he has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. His only problem as well, like, he is relying quite heavily on key spheres. You're not always going to be able to get him to be able to 24 key super. And then his other problem as well is just not having a linking partner. It's really a big shame that with the link level update, we can't link units of the same name together, because if we could do that, we could stick this guy next to the AGL Rose, and this guy would immediately get like a whole bunch more value than what he's got. But just like sort of my approximation for this guy at the moment, I'm just going to drag him up to slot 5. I'm just going to put him up there, and then we're going to continue this list, and I'll probably move these guys around a little bit as I'm as I'm placing the other units. So the next unit that released was this Super Saiyan 2 Angel Vegeta. This guy came out during the worldwide download celebration, and I absolutely love using this guy. He's really good. He kind of doesn't really have anywhere that you would really want to like run him in a perfect situation. Like his sort of perfect situation is next to a unit who is really kind of outdated. If this guy right here had a better linking partner, then he would be a lot better. I mean, his link skills that he's got: Sand Warrior Race, Prodigies, Super Saiyan, Royal Lineage, Golden Warrior, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. All like pretty strong links, but really you want to be putting this guy with another Vegeta unit. So, I mean, if we had like, if we had another sort of top tier Angel Vegeta who could maybe do a little bit to support this guy as well, then maybe that would make him a little bit better. Although he is not bad by any means whatsoever. He's actually one of the top units on this list. Just gonna put him in the 3rd slot for now, and then we'll move on in just a sec. The other thing about this Angel Vegeta is after he gets his 18 key super or his unit super attack, you can also get that 12 key super attack, and if he's getting the 12 key super attack, he's able to raise his defense quite considerably and able to be quite tanky. The only really bad thing about him is he's not really much of a slot 1 unit, but I mean, you can't really have everything, right? He's also on so many categories, which gets him a lot more points as well. So Vegeta at the moment on slot 3. And the next unit to come out on global, we had LR Jiren. Now LR Jiren, I'm pretty much going to say about the same as LR Jiren than what I am for the Vegeta unit. Although I think that I'm rating Jiren just a little bit higher than what I am Vegeta. The reason being is because Jiren is just pretty much the first sort of unit who came out when we got that massive big power creep. There was a bit of a sort of gap in between content, and then LR Jiren dropped, and ever since LR Jiren has dropped, all of the units that have just been getting released after him have been considerably more powerful than the units who have been getting released before him. And the Jiren just does so much damage, and he's like really tanky as well. You can have like 200k defense pretty easy with him. Jiren's limitations are really sort of where he can be used. He's obviously like the Universe 11 team is built solely around Jiren just carrying the whole team because he's that powerful. But Jiren's like also got this active skill as well that can be activated after he's been attacked 5 times, and what that does is it raises his own attack and defense by 30%, and it lowers the enemy's attack and defense by 30%, and also stuns for 1 turn. And when an enemy is stunned, Jiren actually is super effective against all types. So that's a very, very powerful active skill when that's combined with his passive skill. The two used in conjunction with one another, it's a very, very powerful ability. It makes the active skill even more sort of desirable and just more powerful. But the only thing that's really wrong with this Jiren is you look at his categories. He's probably the best leader at the moment for Universal Survival Saga, but if you're talking about running a Realm of Gods team, you probably just want to fill that up with like the Saiyans, right? The Saiyans are just so dominant, and they're all linking together like so well. MUI Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta are better than what this guy is. So I mean, if you're running a Realm of Gods team, you probably want to be sort of running your team around the Saiyans. So he kind of gets booted off Realm of Gods. He's really quite essential for Full Power. Full Power is a team that really hasn't got a lot of love. I think that really, like when Full Power came out, I was just imagining like, oh, here we go. Like this is just going to be a category where every new Dokkan Fest exclusive who comes out, or every new unit who comes out is going to end up on this full power category, because that's what we're releasing. We're releasing these top tier units, and you've got Super Vegito, and for some reason Super Vegito's not in full power. Like, I don't understand sort of how that works. Full power doesn't really get too much love, so having Jiren around really helps that. But then, like, everything else, I mean, Space Traveling Warriors he's pretty good on, because you can run him alongside Turles. But yeah, he's pretty much just, he's got about the same sort of usability as what Angel Vegeta's got, but I think that as this guy performs, he does perform at a higher gear than what that Angel Vegeta does. So he is going one spot above Angel Vegeta. Next up we've got Turles. Turles honestly is, I'm actually going to put Turles above Jiren. Turles is one of these units who's just, you can use Turles in so many situations. I mean, you look at his categories, movie bosses, you definitely want to be running him on. Terrifying Conquerors, you definitely want to be running him on because of his like support buff. Space Traveling Warriors, you definitely want to be running him on. Planetary Destruction, you definitely want to be running him on. He's also pretty unique in the way that he can activate his active skill like 2 times. He's the only unit in the game who can do that. When he gets 24 ki, he's also super effective against all types, and then he's got built-in chance for additionals as well. This Turles is honestly just crazy. Like, I really like using this Turles. All of the units that I've spoken about so far, I've used them all, got hands-on experience with them, and for like what you can do with this Turles here, he's like an absolute demon offensively and defensively, like Jiren, because he came out like after that Jiren power creep. But he's just got more usability than what Jiren does. So he is getting the top slot. Actually, I'm going to change this whole list around. But I've also just missed out on Gohan. So we're going to go into this here. We're going to quickly pull up Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Here he is, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and we're moving everybody down just one slot, because Gohan is actually taking the #1 slot in this list, because Gohan is absolutely just crazy. Could have been a bit better, but I mean, he is what he is, which is still able to get him the top spot for this list, so you can't really complain too much. The only thing that I do think is a bit of an issue with this Gohan when it comes to using him is just how specific his passive works, right? Like, his passive is ginormous, but basically he's getting like all of this additional attack when you're in like different circumstances, and one of the things that I really don't like about him is you need to be below like 58% HP to get an additional 59% attack with him. And if you actually heal up during that turn, getting like a whole bunch of tech orbs, and you heal up past being at 58% HP, then you're not going to get that extra 59% attack buff. And really, like, this Gohan wants to be fed a lot of tech orbs. So I find if like I'm doing a big attack stat with this Gohan, I'm going to be trying to get him an orb that isn't tech. I'm going to be getting him like a physical or an int or something like that, because that is not going to have him heal, because he's also really defensive. So when he gets orbs, he just heals for so much as well. So I mean, you can't really complain with healing up for getting orbs. It definitely makes running him a lot better, gives him more points for survivability. But just like the way that he works is just a little bit quirky, and apart from that, this guy is just phenomenal. I mean, he can triple super. He is like being able to super without like all of his crazy support, his crazy passive skill buffs. He's able to get like, you know, 8 million attack stats if you get him enough orbs. If you get him actually what he needs and activate his full passive, you can see this guy at like a 20 million attack stat. Very rare, so I'm not really counting it too much in my like in my rating of him. But anyway, that's Gohan. Next up, we have got Android 17. Now, Android 17, we've got just like these regular androids down here. This list here of all of the characters that I've got to go through doesn't actually have Android 17 or Tapion, so we're just going to leave it. This is just going to be representative of Super Android 17. Super Android 17 is honestly, like, he's pretty solid. You know, he's like pretty strong defensively, but his weakness is just that whoever designed him and whoever made him was on drugs when they did it. I mean, he's a GT Bosses lead, but he doesn't link with anybody, not a single character on the GT Bosses team. So, like, why would you want to run this guy on the team? Not only that, but he's buffing target Goku enemies, and target Goku enemies, there's like no GT bosses with target Goku categories. So, like, basically every, like, he leads the GT bosses, yet you don't want to run him with a single GT boss unit. Like, the fuck, man? You sure? Like, really? Not only that, but he's got this weird mechanic here where it's, yeah, here it is here. He's got this weird mechanic here. High chance of 1 key with each attack received up to +7. So he's only got a 50% chance of getting that. Why doesn't he just get hit and get 1 key like everybody else? You know, this just seems like such a just a random mechanic to add just to, you know, just to shaft this guy and just to make him sort of worse than what he actually is. You know, he could use all the help that he can get. If you're going to be running this guy on the GT Bosses team, then he's got no support. He's not getting really, getting his links activated, and yeah, basically, like, if this guy was getting hit and he was able to rely on getting 1 key at least every time he got hit rather than a 50% chance of it, he would definitely be a lot better. But I mean, this Android 17 just seems just silly, man. Like, what were they thinking? What were they honestly thinking? You know, like, I'm actually just going to open this up here and just point one little thing out about that Android 17. This guy right here. See, if this guy right here was on GT Bosses, which is not, he would at least be able to potentially easy A at some point and be like a good linking partner for that Android 17, but he's not. He's not on GT Bosses. So, like, where does that leave Android 17? Like, where does that leave this guy? He's just sort of left in this awkward situation where it just seems like time's going to go on and he's going to get left behind like this first Broly unit. So Android 17 for me is going just above Broly because he just seems like pretty stupidly designed, and like I said, you're probably not really going to use him. I mean, if you run an Androids team, he's the best Androids unit in the game, but I mean, who among us is honestly running the Androids team? Let's just have a look at the Androids team. We got Android 13 recently, like in the last year, but I mean, Android 13 is nothing really too special. And then, you know, like, what new has the Androids got? Like, this is just a dead team. So anyway, Anyway, he's 7, and then the last one that we've got is LR Tapion and Minosha, who are going in at 6th place. Obviously, we don't have LR Tapion and Minosha. We've got Gohan and Goten representing Tapion and Minosha, the two brothers. So I've got these guys at number 6 because these guys right here are pretty solid, but they are also... Actually, look, I'm just going to make a bit of a change on the fly here. I'm going to go like that, because these guys are actually... I would rate them higher than what I would Rose. This active skill right here is actually pretty good as well. This can definitely help you out if you're sort of turn locked or something like that. All in all, like these guys here, they do a pretty substantial amount of damage, but they're a bit more defensive than what Rose is as well. Their only problem really is... Look, actually, the more that I think about it, I'm just going to put these guys at about equal. Because at least with Rose's got a few more teams that are working for him. Rose, there you are. Rose's got like all of these categories right here. Like if you're running Extreme Realm of Gods category, I'm finding that most of the time you're sort of running your Goku Blacks. They're your sort of Extreme Realm of Gods units. Future Saga, like any sort of extreme type future time travelers, like you want to be running this guy, right? So when it comes to this guy, if you're running movie heroes, siblings bond, or storied figures, yeah, you probably want to be running this guy. But like, check out this storied figures category. This is the team that they lead. Honestly, it just like you got a bunch of Bardoks in here, some Margin Boos. Like, it's just like, what even is that category? That's what they lead. I mean, siblings bond is definitely a lot better. I think that this is probably where you'd want to run them if you're going to run them anywhere at all. And they're also movie heroes. Movie heroes is getting substantially buffed as we go on, and we'll continue to do so as we're probably leading into the 2022 Dragon Ball Super movie. So I mean, these guys have probably got a bit of a bright future ahead of them, brighter than what Android 17 and Broly have got. So yeah, guys, this is about my list anyway. Let me know what you all think, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.